Ranked Florida State Seminoles and the Pitt Panthers. Welcome you inside the booth here at Varda Beatty and Field. Jason Earl alongside me, Matt Iannazzo. What an exciting game we had last night. Certainly one that the Panthers will remember for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only was last night possibly the biggest win in Pitt softball history, but it also, as you said, might have been the most fun with the walk-off home run from freshman Cami Compson.
That's right. The highest-ranked victory for the Panthers in program history. And let's take a look at how special it was. Prior to last night, Florida State was perfect after 6 innings, 24-0 on the season.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But as you can see, the Panthers stay hot, having now won 7 of their last 9, certainly peaking in time for conference tournament season.
That's right, putting them in a good position to secure a spot in the conference tournament, which starts on Wednesday. And now looking to continue that momentum rolling today, Mackenzie Stiles, a sophomore from New York, making the start in the circle.
Yeah, the sophomore right-hander is on the in the circle today for Pitt. She is certainly looking to rise to the occasion. Has been used as the number 3 pitcher so far this year for Pitt, looking to make full advantage of this opportunity. What you're going to see from her specifically in the circle is a screwball curveball combo, really working the horizontal plane against these Florida State hitters.
7th start of the year for Mackenzie Stiles. And leading off for Florida State is Kirsten Landers. First pitch catches the outside corner for strike 1. We take a look at the Florida State starting lineup for today. Sydney Sherrill will be on deck. Sherrill last night with her first home run of the season. Known for her home run hitting ability throughout her career as a Seminole. But Sydney Sherrill could not get one this year until last night. As you see, first since March of 2020 for Sherrill. Stiles gets Landers swinging on strike 2.
And there's that really good screwball you're going to see moving away from the left-handed hitters of Florida State. It's a good sign early for Stiles that she gets the swing and miss.
And Landers pokes that one just over top of Sanchez, who ran back from shortstop to try to get there. But Landers with her first hit of the day, and Florida State will start off with a runner on.
And Landers moving up in the lineup to the leadoff spot. Another really good pitch from Stiles, but this one finds a hole, fortunately, for Florida State.
We take a look at the Panther defense. Some adjustments since last night as Lolo Sanchez moves over to shortstop. Chandler Walter playing second base. And Morgan Batesall had 3 errors last night. She'll be the designated player this afternoon for the Panthers in Game 1.
Yeah, last night, if you're with us, if you weren't, Florida State put a lot of pressure on this Pitt defense. It was a big story of the game, and those 3 errors that were made at shortstop really determined a lot of, maybe made the game a little bit harder for Pitt than it had to be down the stretch. So these changes defensively are aimed to fix that, hopefully to limit some of that pressure that Florida State puts on the defense.
So it brings up Sherrill, who again had her first home run of the year last night. And goes opposite field with this one, deep to left field. Making the catch there on the warning track is Cami Compson. But a deep drive from Sherrill almost looked like she was going to have her second homer of the series for a moment there.
Absolutely. The wind, as we see, is going out to right field today. If it's going out to left, maybe she has a shot. But Compton does a good job of playing the sun and coming up with the ball.
0-1-5.
So brings up Kaylee Harding in the 3 spot for Florida State. And quickly lined back to center and over, nearly there to make the grab is Walter. But Landers tried to go back to first, and that will end the inning as the Panthers end up turning 2 there and quickly find themselves coming up to bat. Let's take a look at that play to end the first. Just falls right into the glove of Lolo Sanchez. And she throws it back to first. And Kirsten Landers was already halfway to second. So a double play for the Panthers that you don't see often in that fashion. Off the glove of Walter. Falls into Sanchez and they turn 2. So Kaylin Arnold will now take the circle in the bottom of the first for the Seminoles. came on last night at the very end of that ball game, and now looking to bounce back today.
Yeah, and Kaylin Arley, see they're a 9-6 record, but that sparkling 1.48 ERA, really looking to bounce back. She was on the mound last night when that walk-off home run was hit to center field. What you're going to see from her is an upper 60s velocity with a really heavy rise ball that she's going to look to get up to the shoulders of these Pitt hitters.
It's Chandler Walter leading off for the Panthers. Senior from Arizona. So 1-1 count to Walter as we take a look at the rest of the Panthers starting lineup. And of course, Cammie Thompson in the 3 spot coming off the hero walk-off home run last night. 2-1 here to Walter. That's high for ball 3.
And one thing to kind of keep in mind with watching these rise ball pitchers of Florida State is that at a field like Pitt, where the fence is 200 all the way around, which is traditionally 10, 15, 20 feet shorter than many other stadiums in the ACC, that rise ball, if it's not executed to the proper height, can really lead to some home runs. We saw it yesterday with multiple balls leaving the yard. So it's something to really keep your eye on if you're a Florida State fan, making sure that she's hitting that location on the rise.
Full count pitch. Walter fouls it back.
And that's it right there, that perfect location in on the hands, that shoulder area. She has a little bit of arm side run to that pitch. And when she's dominating that quadrant of the zone, she's really hard to hit.
(3-2) to Walter. Once again fouled. Shelnut is over to make the catch. An impressive grab right near the wall by Anna Shelnut for out number 1.
Absolutely. The defenses are ready to play today. What a fantastic play there by Shelnut.
And speaking of that Florida State defense, we take a look at the rest of them there. Kaylee Harding out in right field had a couple of dropped catches last night, but getting the start once again in right, and hopefully we'll be able to bounce back today and play cleanly in the field. Errors, of course, a story for both teams last night. But Kaylee Harding has been reliable for the Seminoles throughout this season, and Coach Lonnie Alameda comfortable playing her just about anywhere on the diamond. Kayla Lane now up to bat for the Panthers, sophomore from Georgia, who also had a solo home run last night.
So Arnold breaks off a changeup there behind the count. Really good pitch. That's going to be a pitch that is going to keep these Pitt hitters off balance. You see a lot of power in this Pitt lineup. A couple of players with up over 10 home runs on the season. That's the pitch that's going to keep them off balance.
So Kayla Lane, the sophomore, with 6 home runs on the season, a hit in 7 of her last 8 games this year. Here comes the 1-2 pitch with 1 out. That one's outside. Kaylin Arnold leads Florida State in strikeouts on the season, ranks in the top 5 in the conference. 114 Ks. Entering today. She'll face another full count here.
She has no shortage of experience. The transfer from Tennessee has 3 years of playing there now. With COVID, this is being her 2nd year playing here at Florida State. She's has plenty of high-level softball in her background.
3-2, that time gets Lane swinging.
And that's that rise, right? That rise that comes up and in on those right-handed hitter. Really hard to hit.
There is Lonnie Alameda, 7 straight NCAA Super Regional appearances. The Noles, the 2018 national champions. 6 straight ACC tournament titles for Florida State. And an impressive resume, about as impressive as it gets for Coach Alameda, who's also a 5-time ACC Coach of the Year.
Yeah, absolutely. Lonnie Alameda is just simply one of the best college softball coaches in the country. There's no really other way to say that. As you said, 5-time ACC Coach of the Year. With a good weekend this weekend, they can find their way to another ACC regular season championship, the 18th in program history. She's definitely vying for another ACC Coach of the Year, having guided her program during this COVID restriction season to just what that expectation of the program is year in, year out.
Yeah, it looked like Kaylin Arnold thought that was the third strike there on Cammie Compson. This is the exact matchup that we saw, how many hours ago now, Matt? I think
oh, yeah.
probably about 16 hours ago, these two players in this exact spot.
Oh, yeah, and if I know a competitor like Kaylin Arnold, I bet she's been thinking about this at-bat all night. No, it's ever since she knew she was getting the start. She's got to come back and get this hitter that sent Florida State home in Game 1, and that doesn't happen very often for the Seminoles.
And that time, different result. The high pitch gets Cammie Compson swinging. 2 strikeouts early in the afternoon for Kaylin Arnold. And Florida State making quick work of the Panthers in the bottom of the first. They're coming to bat next. Jody Hermanick told us that her #1 focus this weekend is winning Game 1 of the series, and the third-year head coach can check that box off the list of her goals for this weekend against Florida State. Had a great career as the head coach at Ohio, and slowly but surely starting to find the same success here with Pitt. And again, Matt, last night's win puts them in a great position to potentially reach their first ACC tournament with Jody Hermanick at the helm.
Yeah, absolutely, Jason. One of the things we talked with Coach Hermanick about is simply changing the expectations of the program, right? The program coming in was, hey, we want to compete. Maybe before Coach Hermanick got here, we want to compete. We want to try to win as much as we can. Now she's putting forth the goals where, hey, making the conference tournament, that's what we expect to do. Over the course of time, we'll see how that plays out. This year, they're in certainly a great opportunity to do so, as we'll go through a little bit later on. But maybe another win or two this weekend, and they can clinch their way in.
The Panthers still waiting on some results throughout the conference. Of course, they're hoping that Louisville takes care of North Carolina. 3 games left in that series. But certainly last night's result huge for the Panthers in securing that spot. North Carolina lost to Louisville last night. And Matt, you have to think if the Panthers do find a way to get one more in this series, that just about locks it up.
Yeah, not only would that be amazing to lock up to get into the ACC tournament, but splitting with Florida State going into the ACC tournament has to do wonders on, assuming they only win 2, that would do wonders for the confidence of this program once they get to that ACC tournament to make some noise, because we all know that once you get in, anything can happen.
And I think last night was proof that even before the tournament, of course, upsets can take place. As we take a look at these scenarios here, Pitt has to match North Carolina's win total for this weekend to clinch the ACC tournament berth. North Carolina, of course, has to outdo the Panthers this weekend, but the Panthers are already up 1 here on Florida State. Meanwhile, North Carolina down 0-1 to Louisville, so they have some work to do. Tar Heels now definitely need at least 2 wins in their series against the Cardinals in order to have a shot at taking that 10th seed.
Yeah, and all of this is based on winning percentage, right? And each team has played some about the same, but a lot of teams have played a different amount of conference games because of COVID, because of weather, or otherwise. So, having to match with North Carolina and the win last night puts Pitt in a really great position, with North Carolina only having 3 games left of their series, and all of this is obviously weather permitting as well.
Matt, you talked about how this is exactly the way that the Panthers would hope to reach the ACC tournament, by pulling off an upset over the #9 team in the country. And you look at their last 2 series, we talked about how they've won 7 of their last 9. Came against North Carolina in Boston College, 2 of the teams that are lower down in the standings. but you come back and you really prove to people that you're for real by upsetting Florida State last night. Panthers have to be happy about getting that victory.
Yeah, absolutely. When you talk to coaches, they always say, hey, you want to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat, right? Beat the teams that are around you. And certainly North Carolina and Boston College are around Pitt. But having that win against Florida State last night proves that, hey, this hot streak is for real. Like, this team is truly peaking at the right time, competing with a team in Florida State that has every aspiration and, quite frankly, every capability of going to Oklahoma City.
2-1 pitch, Flaherty to shallow center. Levesque makes the diving grab.
And the defense has really shown up today here at Vartabadian Field. Florida State, great play last inning by the catcher Arnold, and Levesque coming through, getting dirty, or I should say on the turf out there. Would have been getting dirty with a diving play. Fantastic.
We take another look here. Levesque coming all the way up to get that one.
And what made that difficult for her, I bet if she's playing Flaherty straight up, meaning right behind second base, she makes that play easily, but led her to slightly pull.
And nearly the Panthers could have ended the bottom, or the top of the second rather, in quick fashion, but Stiles could not put the throw on target over to Siemens at first. And so Florida State now with runners on second and third, they get to continue the inning.
Yeah, and this might be a little bit of a mental mistake here by Stiles as you get the comebacker. We might have spoken a little too early with some of the great defense we're seeing here in Pittsburgh, but maybe rushing that throw just a little bit. As you can see there, she had plenty of time. And now Florida State with 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs.
So still an opportunity, though, for the Panthers to make it out of the top of the second unscathed. They've got 2 outs, and Josie Muffley at the plate. Muffley hitting .227 on the year.
And knowing Coach Alameda, I guarantee this is one of the things that she was looking at last night is, the defense that Pitt allowed them to have. They left 9 runners on base yesterday, and I know she wants to cash in on that. As Pitt here now leading the ACC in errors, if they want to make that run, as I was alluding to a second ago, that needs to be cleaned up. Allowing extra base runners on, allowing runners to move up because of defensive plays, especially unforced errors like we saw right there. That's the type of thing that really, really good teams don't do.
And again, chance for redemption here. Josie Muffley was 0 for 4 last night. Over to Lane. She makes the throw to Siemens. And the Panthers will get out of the inning. No runs on the board yet for Florida State, with the Panthers coming to bat bottom 2. Well, what a special moment pregame this afternoon as the Panthers honor an important part of their team. Riley DiTullio, who was diagnosed with cerebral palsy as a child, but in 2019 signed as a member of this Pittsburgh Panthers squad and has attended team dinners, games, practices, all of the above. And it's all part of Team Impact, the organization providing a safe, supportive, and encouraging environment for children living with chronic or life-threatening illnesses and allowing them to connect with college athletic teams in the local campus community. There's a look at Riley in attendance today and enjoying watching her Pitt Panther squad take on Florida State. Really special moment to have Riley here today and for the Panthers to get to spend some time with her.
Certainly, Jason. And the one thing that this softball team really gets from Riley is not only that infectious personality that you saw there in that video, but just the perspective, right? When you're going through the hardships of being a student athlete and you have your finals and maybe you're 0 for your last 10 with a couple of punch outs, you know what? There are other folks out there that have it a lot harder than what you're going on. And kudos to Coach Hermanic and this Pitt Panther softball team of taking Riley under their wing and making her a part of this program. It's just really, really cool to watch.
And Matt, I thought another moment that was really special. This happened just about 10 minutes before the start of this game. And Pitt trying to push for the ACC tournament. Florida State, number 9 in the country. But Jody Hermanic, 10 minutes before the game, goes over to Riley, has flowers, different Pitt apparel, things like that, to bring to Riley as part of this team. And just special and a reminder that sports are big and moments like this are bigger.
Yeah, I think it just kind of reminds us that, hey, you know, to Riley, these girls are superheroes, right? She's watching these girls play, and it's absolutely unbelievable. And to these players, Riley's a superhero going through what she's going through. And the fact that Coach Hermanic and the team, or both teams, I should say, are able to kind of detach from how important this game is to impress upon this moment, it's really, really cool. And, you know, a lot of credit goes out to everybody that arranged that, and what Coach Hermanic does on a daily basis with her program. It's really, really cool to watch.
It's so clear to see the bond on the faces of the Panther players and Riley, that they share a special chemistry and a special relationship on this team. Hunter
I think there was more than one tear shed.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
By family members, by teammates. Really cool moment.
And again, Hunter Levesque, who just walked there, was right next to Riley in those pregame photos and the moments earlier on this afternoon. And one of a number of players on this Panther team that has played a big part in getting to know Riley and welcoming her to the program.
Absolutely, and back to the ball game, right? That's that rise ball from Arnold up and in. Occasionally, she will clip a hitter, and got Levesque there on the hand. All of a sudden, the Panthers got a runner on here in the second.
So 1-1 count for Bailey Drapola, who was not in the starting lineup last night, but came up big as a pinch hitter, got an RBI single, and earns her way into the lineup this afternoon for the Panthers.
And that's what happens, right? You know, there's a little bit of a hole with E.C. Taylor not being in the lineup for the second consecutive day, one of the best outfielders in the ACC. And Drapola now, after the great game yesterday, coming in off the bench, earns herself an opportunity with the lineup shakeup from Hermanic.
So 2-2 count, one out here for Drapola. Levesque on first as she was hit by a pitch. And Walker Barbie in the on-deck circle for the Panthers. Drapola fouls it back. Sophomore from Ohio, still searching for her first home run as a Pitt Panther. Transferred in from Akron, where she led the Zips in batting average, runs, hits, and doubles in her last season there. 2-2 pitch to Drapola is high. Matt, these Panthers so far today really making Arnold work. We've seen a few full counts here early on.
Yeah, and they haven't had the success, right? They haven't had the hits yet, but they certainly have had good at-bats, and they're getting deep into counts. Not giving themselves away too early, which is, you know, obviously going to make Arnold work a little bit harder.
So Drapola pops that one up. Mason tried to come over and catch it in foul territory.
Yeah, that ball likely should go to Shelna, but I think that she actually came up looking towards the third base side and obviously just didn't see the ball. That's a very catchable ball for catchers if she came up looking in that direction. So a fortunate break here for Pitt.
And Drapola will take that for ball 4. And Matt, Jody Hermanic talked to us a lot about quality at bats being a goal for the Panthers, and I think she would chalk that one up in the quality ABs category.
Absolutely. When Coach Hermanic talks about quality at bats, she wants about a 50% rate of the at bats that the Panthers have to be quality. And when she's talking about quality, she's talking about 6 or more pitches in the at bat. She's talking about a hard hit ball. She's talking about a productive out, so maybe a sac fly or a runner moving up. And then 100% of execution with a runner on third and less than 2 outs, wanting that runner to score. Those are what quality at-bats mean to Coach Hermanic. And if she's getting about 50% of those throughout the course of the game, in her estimation, the Panthers should win more times than not.
And it's always easy to wonder for Pitt, and teams that pull off a big upset like the Panthers did last night, how will they bounce back in Game 2 of the series? And so far today, the Panthers have kept it rolling. They have made Kaylin Arnold work. Of course, Florida State, as we've mentioned, has one of the best pitching staffs in the country. Arnold is a part of that. Panthers scored 4 runs off Sandercock last night. Now possibly putting some offense together here in the bottom of the second. Barbie fouls that one off softly to the right of the first base line.
Yeah, and when talking about pitching staffs like this Florida State staff, and when you're in your offensive approach against staffs like that, if you're only judging your success based on getting a hit or a double or a home run, that's not really fair, and quite honestly, that's not really attainable, right? Once the ball leaves your bat, there's nothing you can do about it. So what Coach Hermannick is trying to do, and I think quality at-bats are a performance indicator for a lot of high-level programs, but what they're trying to do is create your success attainable. Can you hit the ball hard? Yes, you can, right? Can you see more than 6 pitches in at bat? Yeah, you better believe you can. So with a runner on third and less than 2 outs, can you get them in 100% of the time? You know what? That's in your control. So that's what's really being done with judging quality at bats over, let's say, batting average, slugging percentage, or anything like that.
Two-two pitch here for Walker Barbie. 2 runners on for the Panthers. Hard grounder into foul territory. Barbie, another Panther who homered last night, had a 2-run shot. Her 4th of the season.
And Barbie's one of those folks, we talk about quality at bats, only hitting .211 on the year, right? Maybe not exactly what she was hoping for coming in, but obviously yesterday with the quality home run and keeping her team in the ball game, and you add that to what she does behind the plate, that's why she's in the lineup day in and day out.
Fouled back there. So once again, Barbie making Kaylin Arnold work. Correction, it was the 5th home run of the season last night. The 2-run shot from Walker Barbie. .38 pitches so far for Kaylin Arnold. Here comes the 2-2 with 2 on. High and up, and once again we have a full count. Barbie and these Panthers getting to take on one of the top pitchers in the conference. 3-2 pitch, low, but Barbie makes contact nearly in fair territory, but just a few feet foul. That Panther dugout was on its feet. Looked like they were ready to start cheering, but just a bit foul of that left field line.
Yeah, this Pitt team is now expecting to drive these runners in. You see there, that dugout was really excited as that ball just fouled down the line. Looked like Arnold elected to go to the 3-2 off-speed pitch. I wouldn't be surprised if she comes back to that rise up and in to get Barbie.
And it's high and outside. Panthers have loaded the bases for Morgan Batesole.
And I think she tried, right? Something that came in, setting up in, obviously was a rise, ended up and away. Maybe release point just a little off for Arnold here early in the 2nd inning. What Pitt needs to do, and this happens a lot with really good pitchers, if you get them early, that's your opportunity, right? If you don't get them early, that's when they can get settled in and put you away. So this opportunity for Pitt with 3 runners on and only 1 out, that's a great opportunity.
Hey, and the ACC Softball Championship begins Wednesday afternoon. This year it's at Ulmer Stadium on the campus of Louisville. First round coverage starts at 1 Eastern right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Of course, Florida State certainly going to be one of the favorites for that tournament after the number of times they've won it, the last 6 tournament championships belonging to Florida State. But Lonnie Alameda told us it's all about who's rolling at the right time. And the Pitt Panthers have certainly given Florida State some trouble last night and early today. In a sticky situation here with the bases juiced and Morgan Batesole at the plate. Batesole 226. Runners in scoring position on the year. First pitch low and inside for ball one.
It looks like the infield has come up here for Florida State, which will help Batesole a little bit in that, you know, the fielders have a little bit less range than they would in keeping the ball in the infield when they're in, trying to cut the runner out at home plate.
Second pitch there, good for the first strike. Morgan Batesole has started every game this year for the Panthers. And tucked her in there. Fouled it off for strike two.
Really good pitch. If you're in the circle here, you're looking for one of those soft pop-ups on the infield, right? Or the strikeout. Those are your two options. A ground ball, that's a lot riskier. And obviously trying to keep it in the infield, and the outfield scores the run from third relatively easily. So if you're in the circle, your two options, right? You're going to your strikeout pitch here, 1-2, or whatever's going to get the soft pop-up.
And the strikeout pitch works for Kaylin Arnold as Batesole goes down swinging and brings up Lolo Sanchez for the Panthers.
Yeah, and she's been working on, Arnold's been working on that rise location all day, been a little bit off. You see the ball going up and away. They're able to execute it up in and against Batesole and able to get the strikeout.
Fourth strikeout of the day for Kaylin Arnold. There's a look at Sanchez, senior from California, with a big opportunity here. Outside pitch there for ball one. Sanchez was 0 for 3 last night, but an opportunity for redemption in a big moment here in the bottom of the second.
Looked like he actually gave her a little bit on the corner there for strike two, Jason. So,
oh, good catch.
Yeah, so
good
Sanchez
catch.
Actually put an 0-2 hole here.
That's why I have you here, Matt. Sanchez fouls that one off to stay alive, 0-2. You see there, Sanchez 200 batting average on the year with the bases loaded. And Arnold works that outside edge once again. Kaylin Arnold, the former 2017 SEC Freshman of the Year, making an impact at Florida State. 1-2 pitch to Sanchez. Pops it into left field. Diving attempt there by Landers, but remains in foul territory, and Sanchez will keep the at-bat alive.
And a fantastic effort there by Landers to try to get her team off the field here with 2 outs, but the ball coming off of a left-hander's bat, a little too much run away from her and not able to make the play, but a fantastic effort either way.
Sixth pitch of the at-bat here to Sanchez. And here it comes. Outside once again, makes it 2-2.
And it looks like what she's doing is either trying to paint the outside corner or go to the rise against Sanchez after missing outside there. I think she's going to come back to the rise and see if she can get Lolo to chase up.
And right down the middle, but Sanchez fouls it back.
Yep, just didn't get it to the level where it would be a chase. I think if that comes through, that's actually a called strike. You need to be a little bit more aggressive.
Panthers really honing those quality at-bats today. Once again, making Arnold work for this out as she tries to get out of the inning. 2-2. Sanchez fouls another one off.
Very senior savvy foul ball there. I saw the three-quarter swing, knowing that it's not for her, but knowing that, you know, she can, hey, just get her bat on it, foul it off, live to see another day almost, Jay.
What do you think the conversation is here?
Yeah, I think you're at this point trying to change the momentum, right? Trying to change the rhythm. At this point, Sanchez has fouled off so many pitches in a row, her confidence is growing. And typically, the longer the at-bat goes, the advantage more so goes to the hitter. So when you have a meeting on the mound, you kind of reset and see, okay, now all I have to do is execute one pitch, and I'm out of the inning.
Another foul ball from Sanchez as we take a look at the improvement in the Panther offense over the course of the last 9 games. You see the increase in the run total and the batting average as well. Really big improvements for the Panthers.
Yeah, absolutely. The Pitt team has played so well in their last 9, and a huge part of that has been the increased offensive production.
Another 2-2 and another foul ball from Lolo Sanchez.
Hey, making them work, right? If you're
That's
a hitter,
right.
This is exactly it, right? The longer you stick around, the more of a chance that pitcher has to make a mistake. And all Lolo Sanchez is doing is fouling off the pitches that maybe she can't handle, or pitches that maybe those borderline, maybe in the zone, maybe out of the zone, giving herself an opportunity to live another day.
And that time goes down swinging. Kaylin Arnold wins the long battle to end the bottom of the second. And for Arnold, the 5th strikeout of the afternoon. 2 innings in, still scoreless. Seven Innings is the weekly softball podcast with the ESPN personalities covering the sport, entertaining us all the way to Oklahoma City and beyond. You can listen now on the ESPN app, iTunes, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Florida State will come up to bat here in the top of the third. And we talk about, you know, what Florida State can do as a national contender this postseason. Lonnie Alameda told us that if they get hot at the right time, they can do that. And we talk about the trust that she has with this team. But what do you think's going through her head after last night and now maybe a slow start this afternoon when she thinks long-term ACC tournament, NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I don't think you can show much concern. I think that, you know, she's watched this team day in and day out, right? This is a very small sample size of losing the game last night and, you know, obviously off to a tight game so far today. I don't think that you can overreact, but at the same time, you know, I think that she's seeing some of these maybe defensive miscues and certainly a lack of 2-out hitting. They have 0 hits so far last night and today with 2 outs as maybe something that they can work on going forward. But if you talk to Coach Lonnie Alameda, I guarantee she would say, hey, listen, we just need to relax and play our game. One game's not going to determine our future.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. You could tell the level of trust that she has with her team and with these players. And as you said, important to not overreact despite what was a huge win for the Panthers last night. This is still a Seminole team that will compete for an ACC championship, what would be their 7th in a row. And again, still looking for that 2nd national title under Alameda, who won back in 2018.
And it looks like Coach Hermanic wants to talk. Maybe she thought Landers left the bunt out a little bit longer and thought it was should have been called a strike, but they appealed down to to the umpire at second base and said no swing, or no bunt attempt, I should say.
So 1-0 count here as Florida State is back to the top of their lineup in Kirsten Landers. Bunt attempt once again there. Siemens is there to field it over to Walter. Morgan left the second base bag for a moment, and the Panthers tried to force the quick out.
Yeah, good short game all the way around there, right? So Florida State getting the runner in scoring position for Sherrill in the middle of their lineup. And also for Pitt, it seems a very coached type of play where as soon as you catch that ball at first base, you turn around and throw it directly to second to see if you can catch that runner napping, and nearly got her. Very good play all the way around.
And Matt, you know, we've talked about some of the miscues last night and today defensively for the Panthers, but they have certainly have their shining moments as well. Of course, in the first inning, had a heads-up double play to end the first, and right there nearly came away with a quick double play to start in the top of the third here. So a couple unlucky bounces off the gloves and small things that you hate to see, but the Panthers defense has been alert a lot last night and today.
Yeah, absolutely. The potential's there, right? So a little bit of shakeup today, moving Sanchez over to shortstop and a couple other moves, but you know, the potential's definitely there for some great defense. And when you're Pitt and you show the power and the ability to score runs that you do have, if you can hold the other team to less unearned runs, you're going to have a greater chance to win more often than not, just based on that formula right there.
Sherrill hard grounder to second base. Walter makes the easy throw to Siemens. And the Panthers get the second out.
See the pitch there, and Sherrill rolls over, hitting the ground ball to second base. But this is what I was talking about a second ago. With Florida State so far this series has 0 hits with 2 outs. Right now they have another opportunity with 2 outs and a runner on third with the middle of their lineup up. Kayla Harding. You know, this has to be an opportunity for coaching with Coach Alamina to make sure her team executes.
Yeah, Florida State 0 for 7 last night in situations with 2 outs. And as you said, that has continued throughout the first 2 innings today, making the Seminoles 0 for 9 on the series in 2-out situations.
And this is one of those interesting conversations here that we have with the pitching. The meeting in the circle is 2 outs. Got Harding at the plate, one of the best hitters for Florida State. Yeah, she's a young hitter. She's a freshman, but she certainly is one of the better hitters, not only at Florida State, but in the conference. Not the worst thing in the world to get her on first base here to bring up Davis. Davis was not in the lineup yesterday, and, you know, this might be an opportunity where, hey, you know, we want to pitch around Harding a little bit to get to the next hitter, kind of more of a pick your poison type of situation.
We take a look at the day for Stiles so far. 4 flyouts and 3 groundouts. Still no strikeouts yet for the sophomore. Low pitch there to Harding for ball 2. Kaylee Harding had an RBI single last night for the Seminoles. And once again, that one in the dirt for Stiles to make it a 3-0 count.
Yeah, I think this has to be one of those intentional here, Jason. I know Cassie Davis has 7 home runs this year. A lot of power from the right-handed batter's box when she gets in there. But your percentages of getting Harding out from 3-0 have to be worse than facing Davis at an 0-0 count.
So Stiles does get strike 1 there to keep the at-bat alive. And catches the outside corner there, works her way back to a full count.
And maybe some reverse psychology here. Maybe Harding is thinking the same thing that we're thinking up here and laying off a couple of pitches that she can drive, getting to the 3-2 count.
And down the middle, but low there to Harding, and she does ultimately get ball 4. putting runners on the corners here in the top of the third. It'll bring up Cassidy Davis, who's hitting .277 on the year, .265 with runners in scoring position. Works Davis inside on the first pitch here. 2 outs. Stiles looking to work her way out of this inning for the Panthers.
Man, Davis slugging .586 this year with 15 of her 28 hits on the year going for extra bases. Definitely somebody that Stiles needs to be careful with.
And Matt, you know, you talked about the Panthers walking Kaylee Harding, but not too much easier here with Cassidy Davis in the 4 spot. Tied for the team lead on the season in home runs as well. Situation the Panthers are certainly looking to avoid here in a scoreless game, top of the third. You see Cassidy Davis, her improvement over the last couple of seasons. Increasing in batting average, extra base hits, the RBIs. Just about every offensive category has been improved for Davis, who has been an integral part of this Florida State success this year.
Yeah, and you talk to Coach Alameda, this graphic right here is absolutely beautiful. It's something that when you come on campus, yeah, you're a good player, but we're going to get you better over the course of your 4 years, and that is certainly the case with Davis, as the last 2 years her production has seriously jumped over her first 2.
Now Davis making Stiles work here once again. 3-1 count with runners on the corners. Panthers just looking for that final out to end the inning. Below and inside to Davis, so back-to-back walks here will bring up Elizabeth Mason. Chandler Walter walked over to Stiles, perhaps giving some words of encouragement.
Yeah, and Mason typically batting leadoff. She was 0 for 2 last night with a couple of walks, a couple of runs scored. Another patient hitter, but clearly attacks that first one.
And smoked it down the left field line, but just a few feet foul. Florida State was excited about that one. Nearly what would have been a multi-RBI hit there for Mason.
Absolutely, and that's a strategy, right? When you're a hitter in that batter's box, you know bases loaded, 2 outs. She's going to attack you. She just walked 2 hitters. The last thing that she wants to do is walk another one or get behind to walk another one. Attacking the first pitch is a great strategy in the situation.
And you saw the look of disappointment on the face of Elizabeth Mason as she hustled toward first base. Would have broken our scoreless ball game here in the top of the third. 279 with runners in scoring position on the season is Mason. That one outside for ball 2.
One thing to keep in mind here with Mason, very fast runner. 2 stolen bases yesterday. Pitt has to be quick on a ball to the infield. Ball maybe to deep short or deep second base. They're going to be really quick if they expect to get Mason out at first base.
Mentioned that Cassidy Davis is tied for the team lead in home runs. Well, she's tied with Elizabeth Mason. They each have 7 on the year. This is a tough Florida State lineup, and Stiles has had to go through the heart of it this inning.
Absolutely. If you're Stiles, you throw your best pitch in this spot. I don't care what it is, but you have to get beat with your best.
And Mason lines one right back up the middle. And that will score 2 for Florida State. The Seminoles are on the board first.
Absolutely, and Mason comes through with the first 2-out hit of the series so far for Florida State. The RBI single nearly takes the pitcher's head off with a really good swing.
And super tough play there for Stiles to make. A lot of power and speed on that line shot there from Elizabeth Mason. And so some 2-out lightning here, Matt, from Florida State. You've talked about it a couple times. That has kind of been their kryptonite this series, is having success with 2 outs. But so far here, of course, in the top of the third, finding a rally and earning 2 runs.
Absolutely, and it looks like Styles is coming out of the game here. A really good start for her. 2 great innings, was 1 pitch away here in the third from getting out of it, and we're going to have a new pitcher.
So it'll be Abby Edwards taking the circle out of the break. Florida State out to a 2-0 lead. Abby Edwards entering the contest for the Panthers here as they look to get out of the top of the third. She'll come in with 2 outs and try to get the Panthers out of this inning.
And as much as Styles was a horizontal pitcher, you're going to need more of a vertical pitcher with Abby. She's going to be with rise, drop, and change speeds. Her big thing is getting ahead. When she gets ahead, she's really nasty. She can get hitters to chase. When she gets behind, she gets in trouble. Another big thing for her mentally is she has to stay within herself. She gets into trouble when she tries to do too much, when she tries to overwork the ball a little bit. If she can stay within herself, her stuff is plenty good to get ACC hitters out every single day.
And Abby Edwards was really the Panthers' #1 ace early on in the season. Has struggled a little bit lately. As you said, Jody Hermanic trying to get her to pitch within herself. Focus on location, which is the key to her success. Just 2 strikeouts in the last 6 outings for Edwards. That's 16 total innings for her, but very big opportunity here to get back on track, and she's coming in for Mackenzie Styles, who went 2 of 2/3. Of course, the first 2 innings, not too much trouble, but the Seminoles putting 2 runs on the board here in the third, finding their offense. And Edwards enters for the sophomore Styles.
That's the hard part about sports, right? If you're Styles after the first 2 innings, you're thinking, hey, I'm throwing the ball great outing. And all of a sudden here in the third, ran into some trouble, mostly with those walks, right? Without those walks, she has an opportunity to get out of that inning. But either way, if you're Coach Hermanic, it's still a positive outing for a pitcher that's been your #3 throughout most of the year.
Devin Flaherty at the plate for Florida State. And the pitch from Edwards catches the outside corner to bring the count back to full.
Yeah, and this is a good spot for Edwards, right? That intense competitor game, runner in scoring position, your team behind. This is a good spot for her to excel.
Flaherty fouls it off, keeps the at-bat alive. Devin Flaherty, the redshirt freshman from Sarasota, Florida. Had a single last night. And hard hit grounder to the left side. And coming all the way home and sliding in for the run is Davis. And the Noles add to the lead.
Yeah, and Flaherty, really good hitter to her backside, right to her opposite field. And first at bat, robbed by the diving Levesque. This time the ball gets through and provides another 2-out hit and an RBI on the single to left.
And right in between Lane and Sanchez, who make up that left side of the infield for the Panthers. So Devin Flaherty with her second hit of the series makes it 3-0 Florida State. So it'll bring up Anna Shellnut.
But just like last night, right? Pitt's in a spot where they're behind relatively early in the game. They have a couple of runners in scoring positions with 2 outs. If Edwards is able to get out of this and keep this right here, Pitt is still in this ball game, right? Shellnut has easily the ability to leave the yard and possibly blow this game wide open. So this is a big out for Pitt, and especially for Edwards. But if you're Florida State, on the flip side, right, if you're Florida State, this is a big opportunity to blow it open, right? Last night you lost the opportunity to blow it open, and you could argue that that was the difference in the ball game. Now you have another opportunity to put your team up in a very comfortable fashion in game one of this doubleheader. So for both sides, this is a relatively big at-bat.
That's right. It's a familiar situation for both teams here as Shellnut fouls that one off towards the third base line. But for Pitt, of course, as you said, they were down 4 runs last night. Came all the way back, ended up winning with a walk-off in the 7th. And as you said, for Florida State, they're looking to take this opportunity and play it differently than they did last night and really blow this game open. But that time, Edwards able to get Shellnut swinging to end the inning. But the Seminoles with 3 runs here in the top of the 3rd. Well, Kaylin Arnold has been steady in the circle for the Noles so far today with 5 strikeouts here in game 1 of this doubleheader. Arnold has been flawless just about so far, and no hits allowed to the Panthers in this one. And then the offense arrives in the Seminoles for the 3rd inning thanks to the 2 RBI single up the middle from Elizabeth Mason. And the Noles kept it going by adding 1 more from a single, scoring a run from Devin Flaherty. And of course, Arnold now going to stay on the circle here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Yeah, Arnold's been really good in putting away hitters. Pitt has had some good at-bats, but she's put away the hitters that she needs to put away. Florida State, on the other side, has cashed in on a couple of walks from Pitt, and that's what leads us to this 3-0 lead.
You see the Panthers 0 for 2 with the bases loaded so far in this one, and have to capitalize on those opportunities. Florida State certainly did in the top of this inning. Now the Panthers hoping to do what they did last night after getting down early, trying to match that Florida State score. So 1-1 pitch there. Catches the edge for strike 2 as the Panthers are back to the top of their lineup with Chandler Walter. And this one is skied over towards 3rd in foul territory. Looked like Sydney Sharrow couldn't see it in the sun and opts to just let that one bounce foul.
Absolutely. Partly cloudy day here in Pittsburgh, and that's bad timing for a Florida State fan. Clouds move just a little bit and unable to make that play. That's a hard play without sunglasses.
He's got the visor, but
yeah,
no shades for Sherrill. And Walter will go near the same spot, but this one making its way out of play. But once again, some hustle from the Florida State defense. That time, Josie Muffley trying to come over from short to make the catch.
Yeah, what you see when those balls get up there in the sun is if you don't have sunglasses on, you want to use your glove to shield the sun. Unfortunately, when you do that sometimes and the sun is right where the ball is, you can't see the ball either. So that's the difficult part with some of these sun plays. It's not just the sun always making the difference. Sometimes it's actually your glove getting in the way too, making the play more difficult.
Well, and of course the glove is the thing that has to make the catch anyway.
Correct.
So you're using it to block the sun, and then it also has to secure the ball. Never an easy play. And certainly not on a sunny day here in Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. Arnold went to the rise a couple of times and got a couple of pop-ups, as we were talking about. Tries to go back to it. Looked like a changeup to get the chase. I bet she comes back up and in with that rise for the pop-up or strikeout.
And high pitch there to Chandler Walter. Goes down swinging. And you see the pitching dominance from Florida State this season. We mentioned they have one of the best staffs in the country. You see their ranking in the top 10 in the nation in ERA and shutouts.
Yeah, and the job of the pitcher at any level is, right, is give your team a chance to win. And the last point of that slab there is that they've given up 2 runs or less in nearly 2/3, if a little bit over, of their games. And if you're an offense and you only have to score 2, 3, 4 runs in order to win, you're going to win a lot more than you lose.
And again, that's what made Pitt's performance last night so special. Florida State rarely allowing a team to score 6, but that's just what the Panthers did in their walk-off win in Game 1 of this series. Two-one to Kayla Lane. She swings at strike 2. Matt, you can almost feel Kaylin Arnold starting to settle into her rhythm here in the 3rd.
Absolutely. Getting out of the jam last inning with the bases loaded and 2 outs with a strikeout to Sanchez. All of a sudden, you see a lot more comfortability and execution of that rise up and in and the off-speed pitch down in the zone.
Kaylin Arnold, preseason All-ACC performer, and has lived up to those expectations. A great year for Florida State. And again, have to imagine that she's looking for redemption after last night allowing that walk-off home run to Cammie Compson that gave the Panthers the win. Full count to Lane. Lane fouls it off. And again, no hits so far on the day for the Panthers. But another full count here, and Kaylin Arnold has thrown 71 pitches. Not too often you see a pitcher like Arnold no-hitting a team having to throw 71 pitches just 3 innings in, but this time gets Lane to strike out for the 2nd time today.
Yeah, another full count strikeout for Arnold. I think if you're a Pitt fan, you have to believe that you're eventually going to get to Arnold when she's throwing this many pitches and going deep into games.
You see the top pitchers in the conference this year. 2 Seminoles on this list of the top 5, and Sandercock and Arnold both with ERAs below 1.5 on the season.
And we talked about a little bit last night about the teams that have the ability maybe to upset Florida State or win an ACC tournament champion. And that's the 4 schools that absolutely have a shot, right? Clemson, Virginia Tech, Duke, and Florida State, because that pitching keeps them in the ball game every single time.
And Cammie Compson earns the Panthers' first hit of the afternoon with the hard hit grounder up the middle there.
And Compson with another hit against Arnold, now 2 for 3, including last night, 1 for 2 today. You know, the 667 batting average against Arnold. I bet there's not too many ladies in the world that can say that.
Absolutely not. And just a freshman, Cammie Compson, certainly Panther coach is excited to see what she can do in her time as a Panther. And that's a 1-2 punch in the 3-4 spots in the lineup that many coaches in college softball would be happy with. Cammie Compson followed by Sarah Siemens. Plenty of offense, and Sarah Siemens cranks one almost the same spot as the walk-off last night. And the Panthers have cut the deficit to 1 in the bottom of the 3rd.
Sarah Siemens takes the outside pitch and drives it over the center field fence, and just like that, the Panthers are back in it, down 3-2.
Sarah Siemens with her 13th of the season, and she did it with Cammie Compson on first base. Look at the joy from the freshman as the Panthers, for the second game in a row, playing comeback ball.
Home run ball is a factor here at Vartabadian Field, and it's a really exciting and fun brand of softball here.
And that's a familiar view for that Pitt dugout. Eerily similar to the Cami Compson homer from last night that won them the game. So after Siemens clears the bases, it brings up Hunter Levesque. Looking to keep the offense rolling here for the Panthers. Levesque with 4 home runs on the season, a hit in 5 of her last 6 games. And swings at the low pitch there. So the Seminoles get out of the inning, but the Panthers with a 2-run shot from Sarah Siemens. Get the latest news and information from the ACC each morning with special guests from the world of sports. Packer and Durham is weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on the ACC network and the ESPN app. So once again, similar to last night, 1 inning consists of all the early runs. Last night, Florida State scoring 4 and the Panthers matching that. And now here today, Florida State dropping 3 in the 3rd inning. And the Panthers come back in the bottom of the 3rd and score 2 of their own. And we've got a tight ball game after 3.
Absolutely. Pitt comes back after getting, taking the first punch and delivering one back themselves. And Arnold, after not able to get the shutdown inning, be very interested to see if Abby Edwards is able to get her 0, for Pitt.
And both of those rallies came with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. We were just talking about how Kaylin Arnold had seemed to find her groove. Started the 3rd with 2 back-to-back strikeouts on Chandler Walter and Kayla Lane, but that was followed up by a single from Cami Compson, and then a 2-run homer from Sarah Siemens to make this a 3-2 game. Abby Edwards came in at the end of that Florida State rally at the top of the 3rd, and will continue her outing here. And first batter here in the 4th for Florida State is shortstop Josie Muffley. Muffley still looking for her first hit of the series. 1-2 pitch inside for a ball. Muffley came to Florida State from Tulsa after her freshman season. Had a very good year in the shortened season last year for the Seminoles. Also dangerous on the base paths as well. Tied for the team high last year with 8 stolen bases in that shortened year. (3-2) from Edwards. High, and Muffley will walk.
A really good at-bat there by Muffley, right? Going from 1-2 to the walk to lead off the inning. This is one of those bounce-back batters for Abby Edwards, right? After you have the leadoff walk and they get done, if you're able to get the next batter, you limit that damage a little bit and prevent maybe a bigger inning from happening.
So it'll bring up Danny Morgan. And Matt, we talked to Jody Hermanic a lot about the goals. We've mentioned a couple of them today, and another one of those goals for the Panthers is that if they allow a leadoff walk in an inning, the next at-bat has to be an out.
Yeah, it's one of those defensive principles, right, that she has. It's after every single leadoff base runner, whether it's a hit or an error, that next batter becomes even more important.
So Walker Barbie going to call time here, have a conversation with Edwards. Danny Morgan at the plate, had a single to center earlier in the third. As you see, 11 balls, 9 strikes so far for Edwards. And again, as we talked about earlier, the story with Edwards, just trying to play within herself, focus on location. This one fouled off over in right field. Drapola was trying to make the dive. But Matt, is that something you ever struggled with as a pitcher, when you don't have your stuff going and you're starting to get frustrated and you just try and throw it so hard that you start to lose the mechanics? It seems like an easy trap to fall into.
Oh, absolutely. You start worrying so much about what's happening at home plate, whether that be the movement of your pitch, location of your pitch, what the hitter's doing, that you lose track a little bit of what you're doing. And I think it's also very easy as a pitcher to lose some of the confidence in your abilities, right? So Abby Edwards, you know, she leads Pitt in complete games. She's thrown some phenomenal games, but has also lately not been at her best. So I bet there's a little bit of doubt, maybe not now in the circle, but at times where, hey, you know what, am I good enough to get these hitters out? She's already proven that she is. And that might have been that meeting that that Barbie went out and talked to her. Say, hey, listen, your stuff is good enough. You just have to go out and execute. And so there's definitely some of those competing mental game strategies going on with Abby Edwards in the circle.
Jody Hermanic told us that when she starts trying to overthrow the ball, it ends up messing with her mechanics. And could be having a conversation about that right now as Hermanic walks out to the circle to speak with Edwards after back-to-back walks to start the fourth.
And it's a little counterintuitive too, Jay. It is when you try and do it too much, either at the plate or in the circle, the ball ends up doing less than what it does when you're relaxed, right? So when you're relaxed and you allow the ball to come off your fingers, the last, let's say, 5 feet of the pitch have an extra bit of movement, or even the ball can be thrown harder. When you try and force the ball through movement, that's when the movement isn't as sharp and doesn't have that late life that it does when you're relaxed.
So 2 walks to start the inning for Edwards. And already 5 walks by the Panther pitchers so far today. And hey, 7 Innings is the weekly softball podcast with the ESPN personalities covering the sport, entertaining us all the way to Oklahoma City and beyond. Listen now on the ESPN app, iTunes, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Certainly a lot of exciting stuff to listen to on that podcast this time of year, as we near the ACC tournament, NCAA tournament. Plenty of action to cover.
Absolutely, and I'm sure this Florida State team will get a lot of airtime on that podcast, as a lot of opportunities with this team to win a national championship. I think this team has power, this team has speed, and certainly has the ability in the circle to get anybody out. They have to be a team to watch down the stretch.
Matt, you know, we've talked a lot about Florida State, their chances to win an ACC title, but I think one team we haven't talked about enough maybe this weekend is Clemson. At 38-4 on the year, what they've done in just their second season as a varsity softball program. Absolutely unbelievable to see the success that they have had this year.
Absolutely. Hat goes off to that program, that administration, that coaching staff of hitting the ground running. I mean, it's got to be fertile recruiting grounds, getting players in, getting some transfers in to make sure you have some upperclassmen. It's really impressive what that program has done in such an early life that they have there.
I think the rest of the ACC is finally somebody's going to come around and test this Florida State squad. After 6 straight conference tournament titles for the Noles, Clemson will certainly challenge them this year. And as you said, as we looked at that graphic with some of the top pitchers earlier, Duke could test these teams. Virginia Tech is certainly up there as well. So certainly will be a fun and exciting tournament this week in ACC softball.
And anybody that follows fast pitch softball knows that you're only going to go as deep as that pitching staff will take you, right? If you have a pitching staff that is walking people or allowing runs, you know, the runs get fewer and far between the more that you move on in the postseason. And it's no coincidence that of the top teams in the ACC, their pitchers were featured in that graphic of the top pitchers in the ACC.
The Florida State pitching has been very solid so far today. Of course, the Panthers earning 2 runs in that bottom of the third, but Kaylin Arnold has pitched well for Florida State, and now Abby Edwards with some trouble here in the top of the fourth. 2 runners on and a 3-0 count. Started the inning with back-to-back walks. And now will catch the outside corner there to keep Cheryl at the plate. And that one popped into foul territory in left. Cammie Compson came over. You see Brittany Knight in the bullpen for the Panthers. And we talked a lot about Cammie Compson, who was the hero who hit the walk-off last night, but have to give some credit to Brittany Knight as well. Through 7 complete innings in the Panthers' victory over the number 9 team in the nation. And now Sydney Sherrill is going to load the bases and bring up Kaylee Harding, the 3-hitter for Florida State, who leads the team in batting average, RBIs, hits, and triples on the season. And a huge moment here, and the exact player the Noles want at the plate for it.
Yeah, this year it has to be Harding, right? She hits the ball hard constantly, is really working the field up the middle, right? You're not going to see a lot of balls maybe pulled down the line or hit down the line either direction. She really focuses on hitting the ball back to the pitcher.
Harding on the year, .351 average with runners in scoring position. Edwards starts with a strike to make it 0-1, and this time low for ball 1. You see the Noles so far today have done well with runners in scoring position. And only 1 out here, but Edwards gets Harding to chase there.
Yeah, the rare chase out of the zone from Harding. Typically very selective and very patient in her pitches, but the off-speed pitch gets Harding out front. And Abby Edwards in the driver's seat now, up 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Harding grounder to third. Lane will go home with it. They'll get the force out for the 2nd out of the inning.
Yep, another off-speed pitch. Gets Harding out front, hooks it a little bit down the line here. But a really good job by Barbie of holding on to the ball, as that's not going to get the speedy Harding at first base for a double play.
Looked like for a moment Muffley there thought for a second, maybe I can go back to third, but nowhere to go in that situation. They got her at home. And a pop-up here to short to Lolo Sanchez. So despite the bases loaded with just 1 out, Edwards and the Panthers work their way out of the inning. Well, we talked about why it's so significant. Clemson giving Florida State a run for their money this year for the ACC regular season and tournament titles. And here's why. Lonnie Alameda absolutely dominant over the rest of the conference in her time as the head coach of the Seminoles. You see her records over the rest of the teams in this league in winning streaks against just about everyone. Pitt and Virginia Tech, the only two teams that Florida State has a losing streak currently against. And of course for the Panthers, that just started last night. So Lonnie Alameda has got it all going for this Seminole program.
Yeah, true domination when you look at that, right? I mean, only two programs that at this point have won the last meeting between them. I mean, it's something that's so impressive with these longer series and true sustained success over time, over recruiting classes, over transfers coming in. It really is really impressive. And 6 straight ACC championships for this Florida State program. I mean, unparalleled success in this conference.
And again, that's what's going to make this year so exciting, is that there are teams in the mix. Clemson, and again, as we just mentioned, Duke and Virginia Tech right up there at the top. And hey, Pitt just took down Florida State last night. Anything could happen in this tournament. Starts on Wednesday. Top 10 teams in the conference will earn a spot. So bottom of the 4th here after the Panthers escaped in the top of the inning. And you see the stats from Arnold so far. 8 strikeouts, just 3 innings in. Really impressive performance from her. Arnold, the team leader in strikeouts for Florida State.
You know, it's really showing you where college softball has kind of gone in the last 10 years or so, right? So, you know, Arnold here, 8 strikeouts, mostly through that rise ball going up and into the right-handed hitters, up and away to the left-handed hitters. Maybe 10 years ago, you would have seen these types of numbers with a pitcher throwing 70, 72 miles an hour. So college softball is changing, evolving, and Florida State pitching staff has shown that.
Full count to Drapola, fouls it off. And once again, Panthers making Arnold throw a lot of pitches. 7th of the at-bat here. Bailey Drapola walked in the 2nd inning. And that one, once again, fouled just out of the reach. Shelnut and Mason trying to scramble to get that one.
Another full count here for Pitt, right? Working another deep count. You have to believe, if you're a Pitt fan, that these deep counts against Arnold, your team will eventually, you know, come out like they did last inning and put a couple runs on the board. If you're Florida State, something to keep in mind, right? You're not getting the easy outs. Sometimes, you know, it's harder to go deep into the game if you're not getting those easy outs early.
So another 3-2 to Drapola. Right back to Arnold. And she wins the battle. And look at Kaylin Arnold. She's certainly a strikeout pitcher. 48 in just her last 44 2/3 in the circle. Now she faces Walker Barbie with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. And Matt, that's got to be nice for Florida State and for Lonnie Alameda to have Kat Sandercock, who of course has the low ERA, leads the team in wins on the year, but Kaylin Arnold, who just seems to have a knack for striking out batters.
Yeah, absolutely. When you talk about winning games in the postseason, right? You never know what that game's going to turn into, whether you need somebody that's going to keep their defense involved with some ground balls, or you're going to need more of a strikeout type arm. So Florida State pitching staff really has a little bit of everything with these three great arms that they have.
And Walker Barbie able to poke one into shallow left field and reach first base there.
Yep, goes down and gets the little bit of an off-speed pitch and hooks it over to the left. The Panthers got somebody on with one out.
And so Hannah Bache will come on to pinch run for Barbie as the Panthers look to produce some offense here in the bottom of the fourth. Third hit of the game there for Pitt, coming from Walker Barbie. And it brings up Batesole, who's looking for her first hit of the series. Down the middle there for strike one. Hannah Bache was in the starting lineup last night for the Panthers. Matt, you mentioned earlier, Pitt without E.C. Taylor this weekend, who has been a huge part of their success this year, causing Jody Hermanic to shuffle around the lineup a little bit, try some different changes. Bache was in the starting group last night, and today, as we talked about, Drapola earning her spot as a starter. There's a look at Taylor there, still smiling and cheering on her Pitt Panthers, who have performed well, of course, last night and today.
Yeah, when you lose somebody like E.C. Taylor that has 27 stolen bases and, she will run into a wall for you in the outfield. She really is one of the top players for this Pitt program. It's going to hurt, and other players need to step up, Bache being one of them.
And Batesole with a shallow pop, but a diving grab by Josie Muffley. But the umpires are saying that that ball hit the ground. Batesole was already headed back to the dugout, and Bache planned to tag up. So you have to think here, regardless, Matt, Florida State is going to earn at least one out. They're headed to the dugout because they think that's three, but we're going to have a conversation amongst the umpires here. What a wild way to end the inning. Look at the catch from Josie Muffley. And let's see, does she hold on this entire time? Tough to tell from that angle. But you can see Batesole disappointed. She's already headed back to the dugout, and you see Bache come into the picture to tag up. So both teams thought that ball was caught. But because the umpires said it wasn't, it could possibly end up in a double play.
It ends up being worst case scenario for Pitt as an unbelievable effort to make the play, the ball possibly squirting out, leading to a double play as opposed to just being robbed of a single. Almost insult to injury there as Coach Hermanic. I don't think she agrees with the call or the presentation of the call. Maybe if the call wasn't made loud enough or wasn't made demonstratively enough, maybe the runners weren't able to hear. It's hard for us to tell what exactly was going on, but the confusion clearly benefited Florida State.
And it seems to be the case that will end the inning for Florida State. So a wacky double play, but 3-2 Noles. Welcome back to Varda Bedian Field. We're through 4 innings. And Florida State with a double play that you don't see often there. Almost an incredible catch from Josie Muffley at short. But it ended up being ruled a drop. And so Florida State earns the double play because the Panthers were caught off guard to the umpire's ruling, and it brings us to the top of the 5th with a 3-2 lead for Florida State.
Yeah, you don't always see the dive going from an infielder going out to the outfield. You see it horizontal, right, left and right in the hole up towards the bag. But I think that angle made it difficult for the runner on first to see, the hitter to see. Obviously, the umpire was there and saw the ball squirt out and leads to the double play. But I think if that shortstop, if Muffley's diving in any other direction, maybe the Panthers still have a runner on base because they're able to see the ball squirt out. But just a tough break for Pitt coming in here to the top of the fifth.
So Mason pops one up high and into the stands there to make it a 1-2 count. Elizabeth Mason scored 2 on a single in the third. Seminoles scored all their runs in that third inning. And in fact, all the runs in this game were scored in the third as the Panthers added their 2 in the bottom half. So 2-2 pitch coming up. Edwards to Mason. Hard hit grounder. Good job by Lane to get in front of it, but opts to not throw it over to first. Still an impressive stop to get there. And Mason Speedy could have ended up on second if that ball had gotten into the outfield. So a good job by Lane to keep it in.
Yeah, absolutely. And a tough call for the umpire, right? When the ball's in front of the bag, it's the home plate umpire's call. When the ball gets past the bag, it's the third base umpire's call. And home plate umpire got out, got a great view, calls it foul, and 2 strikes now on the hitter.
Ball outside for a 3-2 count now to Mason. Hard hit grounder to second. Well fielded by Chandler Walter. So now Abby Edwards here in the top of the fifth. We'll start off the inning with the ground out from Mason. Edwards now an inning and 2/3 into her afternoon. 3 walks, but only 1 hit allowed for Abby Edwards. It brings up Devin Flaherty. Mentioned those 3 runs in the third for Florida State. The third came thanks to a RBI single from Flaherty. One count now. Devin Flaherty with a hit in 6 of her last 7 games. And that one inside for ball 2.
Yeah, good miss against Flaherty. Flaherty's really good hitting the ball to the opposite field. You really want to dominate her inside or soft away, making her get the bat head out. So good miss. 2-1. I wouldn't be surprised to either see her come back with that or go back to that off-speed pitch away.
And she goes outside for ball 3 there. 1 out, nobody on here in the top of the 5th.
Abby Edwards playing with a little bit of fire here. A couple of 3-ball counts to start this inning.
But fights back there with 1 down the middle to make it full. Big pitch coming here. Abby Edwards trying to find her rhythm early into her outing. Would love to start off the 5th with 2 consecutive quick outs. And hard grounder back up the middle. Flaherty will prevent that and earn the single.
Yeah, when you get behind in the count, right, the hitter can see more and more pitches, and Edwards elects to go with the pitch on the outer third, and Flaherty stays with it for the nice line, or I'm sorry, ground ball single to center, just out of the reach of both Edwards and second base.
So Devin Flaherty having a solid series so far for the Noles. 2 for 3 today, and Flaherty was 1 for 3 last night. And it brings up Anna Shellnut. Shellnut 0 for 2 so far today.
2-5-5. Here we go, girl. Here we go, bud.
1-1 count now to Shellnut with 1 out here in the 5th. Anna Shellnut, another integral part of this Florida State team and the success that they've had over the years. A preseason All-ACC pick this season. Hasn't quite had the year that she's used to so far, hitting .210 on the year, but still has started every game for Florida State this season.
You got to think that Anna Shellnut is about to break out, right? You know, when you have had a career that she's had, it can't stay like this for very long.
And great hustle there by the Seminoles as Devin Flaherty slides all the way into second. Well, that was pretty much a routine ground ball to short, but Flaherty hops off, hustles her way over, and makes it in safely.
Yeah, great hustle. I think it's very easy when you're that runner to think, oh, you know what, they're going to get me out. I'm going to take it easy a little bit. But Flaherty hustles in and gives her team an opportunity at scoring some more runs.
Matt, I'm sure there are many players in college softball who would have that exact mindset that you mentioned. On a ground ball like that, it's rare that you see the runner from first able to get to second safely. But you have a speedster like Flaherty who hasn't been caught stealing all year. One of the top base stealers on this Seminole team. And that was a pretty hard hit ball there to short as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Sanchez did a good job of getting in front of that ball. Unfortunately, Flaherty beats it out and says a lot about the culture of the program, right? That no matter where the ball goes, is you're busting your tail to get to where you need to get to, and that's a good example of it right there. It's really good softball.
And there goes Flaherty once again, this time stealing third. So Devin Flaherty really working the base paths for Florida State.
Yeah, taking advantage of that dirt ball read. Getting in just ahead of the tag. More great base running for the Seminoles.
So the 16th stolen base of the year for Devin Flaherty. Now Muffley with a soft grounder over to third. Will be out number 2, but it will score Devin Flaherty, and I would say, Matt, that she certainly deserves a run for her performance there on the base paths.
Absolutely. I mean, the hustle gets her to second, the hustle gets her to third, and I would make an argument that that hustle gets her home. As with any other runner, Lane maybe turns and throws that ball to home plate to try to get the out at home. Instead, deciding to go to first to get the second out of the inning, and I don't think she forgot what got Flaherty around the bags.
So Coach Lonnie Alameda certainly must be happy with that trip around the base paths from Flaherty, who is another very impressive freshman in this Florida State lineup. And this Seminole team is a wonderful mix of experienced veterans and some youth, some talented young players as well.
Yeah, I think with COVID and extra red shirts getting passed around and taken by some players, it can be very easy to load up on maybe too many veterans and having, not setting yourself up for the future by getting some of these younger girls some playing time. Florida State hasn't fallen victim to that.
So Walter fields the grounder to second, makes the throw over to first, but the Seminoles get one in the 5th. Well, this weekend we've got the second best team in the ACC taking on Pitt, who's 10th in the standings right now. But look how tight it's been. Florida State with 10 hits in the series, Panthers with 9, and the runs just a 1-run difference in last night's game and today's game combined. So it has been exciting softball that we've gotten to see, Matt, and I think a lot of people probably looked at this series as one that Florida State had a very good chance of sweeping. Panthers put an end to that last night, and they've come out here today and competed as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it really has been evenly matched throughout. I mean, both teams have rallied. Both teams have pitched well. Both teams have played good defense at times. Both teams have struggled defensively at times. I think if you talk to Coach Jody Hermanic of Pitt, she's really excited with how it's going, and I think if you conversely talk to Coach Alameda, she's going to be happy with some aspects of the game, but I think she expects a little bit more domination of a team like Pitt, who's at the bottom of the ACC so far this year.
Again, Lonnie Alameda at the helm of this Florida State program that is seeking its 7th straight ACC tournament title.
And I do think that we haven't talked about this so far, Jay, and I know college rosters nowadays are not always players from the area that the college is at. But when you're a program like Florida State and you're in Tallahassee and you're practicing playing mostly down south, and you come up to Pitt and it's been upper 40s, low 50s, rainy, windy, that has to play a factor, if not physically, but emotionally and mentally, into the game of softball that you typically play day in, day out. You look around these stands and you're seeing blankets and hoodies and jackets. I don't think they've seen those in Tallahassee since February.
That's absolutely right. And, earlier we mentioned the sun and how that has played a factor. I'm sure it's sunny down in Tallahassee, but just because it's sunny here in Pittsburgh doesn't mean it's not cold.
Yeah, it depends on the time of day, right? Time of day, I think we were all wearing shorts and T-shirts here in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
Couple weeks back. So, yeah, you see there look at the Florida State blanket. It's a good call bringing that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Any trip up north, got to make sure you're fully equipped with the blankets and jackets ready to go.
Yeah, but softball-wise specifically too. I mean, when it's cold, the ball gets a little more slick. When you're hitting and you don't hit the ball at the sweet spot, the bat buzzes your hands a little bit more. Got a couple players now with their hands in their back pocket, anticipating the throw, maybe blowing on their hands a little bit to warm them up. I mean, you're going to see some different things like that typically you don't have to do.
So the inning starts with Lolo Sanchez flying one into left field. Landers makes the easy catch to start the bottom of the 5th. Kaylin Arnold now has eclipsed the 100 pitch mark for Florida State. And a short pop-up there from Chandler Walter, caught by Elizabeth Mason over at first. And, of course, Pitt causing a little bit of trouble back in the 3rd inning, but Kaylin Arnold finding her groove here in the 5th. And 3 consecutive outs now, and outs in 4 of the last 5 at-bats for Kaylin Arnold. Lane will try a bunt to third. Cheryl guns it over to first. And Kaylin Arnold gets the Seminoles out of the inning quick. We're through 5. Seminoles up 2. Get the latest news and information from the ACC each morning with special guests from the world of sports. Packer and Durham is weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Look at downtown Pittsburgh there as we welcome you back to Varda Field. You can see maybe a little bit of rain coming in here at Varda. And the clouds starting to form in Pittsburgh. Nothing too serious yet, but maybe a little bit of increased wind here as well as we begin the 6th inning between the Panthers and the Seminoles.
And with that rain, you're going to see Abby Edwards go to that chalk a little bit. Dry her hands. Make sure she gets a good release on these pitches.
Evens the count there at 1-1. And Matt, looking at the weather throughout this series, it looked like today was going to be the day that we were in the clear for a fun doubleheader between the Panthers and Seminoles. Don't expect that the brief rain should cause any problems here today, as Cheryl fouls one off.
Yeah, I think we all thought tomorrow was going to be the day, but looks like there's other plans out there. But this should pass. It shouldn't be a problem for game 2.
It's Landers leading off the inning for Florida State. Cheryl was there to pick up her bat after the foul ball. That's right, Matt. We got one more between the Panthers and Seminoles following this game. Plenty of action around the ACC as well this weekend. The final weekend of the season before the ACC tournament, which begins on Wednesday. 1-2 count to Landers. Here to start the 6th. And outside gets her swinging. So Abby Edwards with her 2nd strikeout of the day to start the inning off.
Yeah, that outside action, a little bit of screwball action gets Landers out front in the swing and miss, and the leadoff out for Edwards that she's missed in the last couple.
And last strikeout for Abby Edwards was all the way back in the 3rd when she first came into the ball game for Mackenzie Stiles. She struck out Anna Shellnut, but went the 4th and the 5th without earning a strikeout. But gets Landers swinging to start this inning and brings up Sydney Sherrill. Sherrill, the junior from Oklahoma, was 2 for 2 last night, and of course started off the scoring with her first home run of the year. And now a deep one to left field from Sherrill, over diving, and nearly there to make the catch was Compson, but it will be foul, and Sydney Sherrill will remain at the plate.
And a great effort by Compson, nearly catching that foul ball, but the fade off the bat of the left-handed bat just out of the reach of Compson. You see there, fantastic effort.
2-1 pitch is inside for ball 3 as we take a look at Sydney Sherrill and her history of home run hitting. 32 through her first 3 years as a Seminole. Her first of this season last night, putting her 6th, or one shy of 6th, on the Florida State all-time home run leaders list. Matt, that's something we talked about last night. The Seminoles have 4 players in the top 10 of that all-time homers list.
Yeah, and specifically with Sherrill, yeah, you have to believe that a player with that type of power capability, the power will show up at some point, right? I know she hit the home run in the first inning last night. She's come around. Her on-base percentage is over 500. I see another walk there for But I think as the tournament season comes about, I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing some more power from her.
And there is that list. Cheryl leads current players with 33 in her career. Shelnut Davis not far behind, and Elizabeth Mason tied for 10th. And the crazy part about it all, Matt, is that we talk about this Florida State team as a pitching and defense first team, but they've got 4 players on that all-time home run leader list.
In order to be as great as they have, as sustainably great as they have, you really have to have that type of talent in all phases of the game. This year, they're really winning with that pitching and defense, but in previous years, Florida State is known for that power.
Hard hit ball to second, Walter to Sanchez for 1, but Harding legs it out to reach first base safely. But still good for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, no chance of getting Harding there. Just too much speed, no matter how hard she hit that ball to second base. But great footwork around the bag by Lolo Sanchez, typically playing second base, showing that she has the footwork to play short as well.
That's right, as we mentioned earlier, Coach Jody Hermanic making a few changes to the Panthers' defensive positioning in this game. Sanchez at short and Walter at second. Maybe not a middle infield that they typically go with, but have done well for the most part this afternoon. Just 1 error from the Panthers after having 4 in last night's game. So Kaylee Harding on first, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th as Cassidy Davis steps to the plate. One pitch catches the inside corner for strike 2. Panthers down by 2 will have their 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up in the bottom half of this inning. Hard hit ground ball from Davis. Walter once again fields it cleanly. Compson, Siemens, and Levesque due up for the Panthers. Well, we've reached the bottom of the 6th, so let's take a look back at the action so far. In the 3rd, Florida State getting on the board first, notching 3 runs in that 3rd inning to jump out to an early lead. But Sarah Siemens with a 2-run bomb to center field made it 3-2 by the end of the 3rd. Now in the 4th, bizarre double play here. A short, shallow fly ball to left field. Josie Muffley was back for what they thought was a catch, but umpires ultimately ruled it a drop, and they turned a double play the traditional way, but in a not so traditional fashion from Florida State there. And now they've got a 4-2 lead in the bottom of the 6th.
Man, you've seen a little bit of everything today, right? You've seen a little bit of power with the home run, a little bit of great defense, some base running. Pitt still hanging around here with Kaylin Arnold. Pitch count starting to creep up just a little bit, as you can see there, as her last inning was actually her best pitch count-wise coming into the 6th.
Yeah, only 8 pitches in that 5th inning from Kaylin Arnold, but facing arguably the toughest part of this Panther lineup here in the bottom of the 6th. You've got Cammie Compson, who homered last night. Sarah Siemens in the on-deck circle, who homered earlier. And then Hunter Levesque, who is certainly another hitter for pitchers to fear on this Panther lineup. Two-one count to start to Compson. Outside there for ball 3. Compson, one of the most impressive freshmen in the ACC this year. .333 average, 11 home runs, which is second on this Panther team. Excited to see what she can do throughout her career as a Pittsburgh Panther. she starts off this bottom of the 6th with a walk.
It's got to be exciting for Hermannick to know that you have a piece to build around over the coming years. As you're recruiting, you know you have somebody that you can pencil into that 3-4 spot in the lineup every single day. And she leads off this big 6th inning with a walk. All of a sudden, don't look now, tying runs coming to the plate.
Well, looks like Florida State is going to end the day for Kaylin Arnold, who had a great performance featuring 8 strikeouts. But Kat Sandercock will enter for the Seminoles. Catherine Sandercock into the game for Florida State, the sophomore from Virginia, who got the start in last night's game. And so now, after 20 wins on the season, Kat Sandercock coming in to replace Kaylin Arnold, and threw 3 flawless innings to start her night last night. Did not allow a hit, but then Panthers with plenty of offense in the 4th, and Sandercock looking to avenge that here today.
Yeah, you see there that sparkling 1.19 ERA over nearly 118 innings pitched this year for Sandercock. What she's going to be really good at is what we saw last night, right? She's going to dominate the bottom of the zone. She's going to get her ground balls, and she's going to work the corners hard. Not so much of the rise pitcher that we saw in Arnold. So that change of pace might be something that Coach Alameda is looking to accomplish here.
And so the first task for Catherine Sandercock will be Sarah Siemens. Not an easy way to start the outing for Sandercock, as Siemens had the 2-run homer earlier in this one, back in the 3rd. Sarah Siemens having an outstanding year for the Panthers. Swings at the low pitch there to make it 1-2. It leads the team in home runs this year, and you take a look at the production and really the improvement from the junior Siemens.
Right, and this is something that I know I hit on a little bit earlier with Coach Alameda, but with Coach Hermannick in the Pitt program, when you bring in players maybe from some northern states, right, sometimes it takes a year or two of working on your softball, 12 months a year, and all of a sudden you have a year like Sarah Siemens is having this year. I think that it's that development is what Coach Hermannick preaches on the recruiting trail with a lot of the softball players that she speaks to.
Coach Hermannick said she's done a lot of training involving mindset and swing with Sarah Siemens this year. Hard grounder to short, and that's going to allow Siemens to get to first as Muffley bobbled it, and Compson advances to second. So the Panthers catch a little bit of a break there. Still nobody out in the bottom of this 6th inning. And what could be the game-leading run coming up to bat in Bailey Drapola.
Well, and as I said earlier, right, with Sandercock, she's going to dominate the bottom of the zone, looking to keep the ball on the ground and keep her teammates involved on the infield. She gets that ground ball she's looking for, but the problem with ground ball pitchers is sometimes the ground balls are tough to field. And I think even if Muffley gets to that ball, it's going to be nearly impossible to get the out at second and really hard to get the out at first. I think that's where she was going with that ball. Either way, Panthers in business. First and second, nobody out here in the 6th.
And it's Levesque at the plate for the Panthers. Bailey Drapola in the on-deck circle. And again, this is the part of the lineup that did the scoring earlier in the 3rd. Compson got on with a single, and Siemens had that 2-run homer to score her. Now each of those players on base here for Levesque, who's going to lay a bunt down the 3rd base line. Cheryl Fields cleanly makes the throw to Flaherty for the first out, but the Panthers now put 2 in scoring position for Drapola, who did have an RBI last night.
Really good, sound softball here from Pitt, and Levesque getting the bunt down, making the third baseman come in and field that ball so that the out at third is nearly impossible. When it's first and second, you really want to force that third baseman to make the play, as opposed to the first baseman, as she's crashing in, has an opportunity to make the play at third. So a great job all the way around, and obviously Florida State making the play with one out.
Matt, what's the mentality if you're Sandercock here? Obviously new to the contest. 1 out, 2 runners on second and third here with Bailey Drapola at the plate.
Yeah, certainly. You see there at the bottom of the screen, Pitt hasn't cashed in runners in scoring position today. They're 2 runs on the home run. But if you're Sandercock, right, you want to, with 1 out, it's got to be strikeout or short pop-up. Keep the ball in the infield that way. If you go to your ground ball pitches, that's when balls like the one before to Muffley can get into a position where they're tough to make the out, and the run still scores. If you get the infield pop-up or go for the strikeout, now you get to 2 outs, and a run can't score on an out. So that's your strategy in trying to get ahead and put away this hitter with either the strikeout or the infield pop-up.
Low and in for ball 2 to Drapola.
But at the end of the day, too, you have to remember that it is the 6th inning and you are up 2 runs. So if Sandercock is feeling her off-speed pitches down, maybe her curve, she needs to go to that to get the ground ball, maybe allow 1 run to score, knowing that they are up 2.
And Drapola goes opposite field. A hard hit ball over the head of the right fielder, Harding. In to score is Cammie Compson. Siemens will follow, and we've got a tie game at Vardavedian Field.
And Pitt does it again here late as Drapola gets a hold of that ball to right field and nearly knuckles over the glove of the right fielder, Kaylee Harding. A tough play, and it's a base-clearing double for Drapola.
And what a big-time moment from Bailey Drapola. 2 RBIs on the shot to right field, and Drapola all the way to second. And this Panther team has been resilient all weekend, have found themselves down on many occasions, but have continued to fight back. And all of a sudden, Pittsburgh is right back in this game.
And Bailey Drapola, right, you talk about putting your head down, putting the work in until you get your opportunity. This is her 3rd start of the season, in the last weekend of the season, and delivers quality at-bats throughout, and obviously the big hit today. And Pitt is really pushing this Florida State team as much as they possibly can.
And few teams, if any, have been able to do what the Panthers have done against Kat Sandercock this year. She has been a menace across the ACC, but last night and today, the Panthers finding some offense despite facing one of the top pitchers in NCAA softball.
Right, and able to elevate the ball. Typically, Sandercock, you're pounding the ball into the ground. You're going to get a lot of ground balls, and Drapola somehow getting underneath that. And even if that ball is caught, it's a sac fly, and Pitt is down 1, maybe with a runner on third base, as the runner from second maybe moves up as well. But fortunate for Pitt, ball gets past right fielder, and just like that, we got a brand new ball game here in the 6th.
And Walker Barbie came up big last night for the Panthers as well, hoping to do so today. She had a home run in the 4th inning last night. Now Barbie at the plate with a 3-2 count, and Drapola on second. Still only 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th.
And I think something that we have to talk about, right, is Harding was recruited as a catcher. She played shortstop last weekend, right? Going out into right field, working on a new position, balls coming off the bat a little bit differently, maybe a different backdrop than she's used to in a stadium that she hasn't played in before, right? These are all factors that go into some of these defensive plays out in right field for her. Either way, that was the toughest play that she's had all weekend, because those line drives are definitely the hardest ones to judge. But even so, maybe if you have somebody a little bit more seasoned, they are able to reflect on that background a little bit more. Who knows?
And Matt, that's a good point. That one, I would say, far from routine, but certainly some of the better outfielders, perhaps in the conference or in the country, would have been able to make that play. Nonetheless, allows Pittsburgh to tie up this game at 4. 3-2 pitch coming to Walker Barbie. Opposite field, but in foul territory. In the on-deck circle for the Panthers is Morgan Batesole. Three-two to Barbie is high and away, so the Panthers will put 2 on base. Still only 1 out here, bottom of the 6th. Seminoles are 25-0 this year when leading after 5 innings. Of course, that was the case today. But the Panthers have tied things up and made this a fun and exciting ball game here in the bottom of the 6th. And Matt, we talked about last night, Seminoles entering that contest were 24-0 when leading after 6 innings. Pittsburgh put an end to that streak. And now another Florida State streak at risk of being broken here in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, as you see there, Jada Crittenden coming into pinch run at second base. But these records of being ahead and even or late in the game, typically Florida State is not playing in these 4-4, 1-0 ball games, right? Typically, maybe they're ahead by a lot more runs, so ending those games a little bit easier. It's a different skill set when it's a tight game late, right? That's why you see there are closers in baseball, right? The people that specialize in getting those last few outs. It's a different skill set, and Florida State's still learning it. They all have the ability to do it. They all want to have the ability to do it. Now, this weekend, they have the ability.
So Batesole going to pop one up to shallow right field, and that is the ideal out for Kat Sandercock in the Florida State defense. Does not allow the runners to move, but adds another tally to the out column.
And it looks like we will have a pinch hitter for Sanchez. She's been up with in a few RBI opportunities, and it looks like we're going to have a new hitter here in this situation.
I think it'll be Bree Horrell for the Panthers here. Senior from Gibsonia, Pennsylvania.
She pinched hit last night to lead off the 7th and drew the walk that ended up scoring the tying run on the game-winning homer. So this opportunity is a great time to use this asset as a pinch hitter.
Big time moment here for Horrell. Local player, was a 4-year starter at Pine Richland High School. Crittenden on second. Panthers trying to break the tie. Inside there to Horrell. And 2 smart pitches early from Sandercock.
Yeah, I think if you're Sandercock, you have to stay hard. You can't go to that changeup. You can't go to the off-speed pitch. She has beaten Horrell with that velocity inside. I think that you're doing Horrell a favor if you go to anything other than that pitch.
And gets Horrell in 3 pitches. But the Panthers have evened the score. We are through 6. And we have a 4-4 ball game at Vardabedian Field. Don't go away. The ACC Softball Championship begins Wednesday afternoon, and this year it's at Ulmer Stadium on the campus of Louisville. Our first round coverage starts at 1 Eastern right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. 4-4 game at Vardabedian Field through 6 innings. As we welcome you back, Jason Earl and Matt Iannazzo here for this one. And Matt, it's a similar pattern in terms of the scoring and the timing of the scoring to last night. Florida State in both games got up big early. Pittsburgh came back to match. And now here we are. We find ourselves once again late in the game with a tie score.
Yeah, two really good teams going blow for blow. And every time Florida State comes out and scores, Pitt comes right back. And just like that, we're in the 7th inning, and we got a tie ball game here. I'm not sure if you're Coach Hermanic, if you would hope for anything more than that.
So the top of the 7th starts with a fly out to Levesque in center field. And Matt, when we talked to Jody Hermanic this week, one of the words she mentioned to describe this Pittsburgh team is resilient. And that is exactly what they have been last night and so far today. Getting down big early in each of those 2 games, but clawing their way back. Last night they ended up winning in walk-off fashion. And even here today in this afternoon, just when it looked like Florida State might be able to break this game open, Bailey Drapola with a double, scoring 2 in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, and for younger players out there, that's why when these coaches are out on the recruiting trail, they're not always looking for skill set. They're not always looking for if you're good enough to play at this level, right? A lot of times they're looking to see if you're going to be resilient, if you're going to be one of those teammates.
So Flaherty's trying to get her squad going with a gap shot that took 1 bounce off the wall. And she's all the way to second. And Devin Flaherty has had a tremendous series for Florida State. 3 for 4 today and 1 for 3 last night. Flaherty trying to get this offense rolling.
You could see there Flaherty really good driving the ball to left center and takes that pitch and one hops it off the wall. A great swing, great effort getting into second base.
And so Brittany Knight, who threw a complete game last night, will take the circle after the break. So after the Devin Flaherty double, it's Brittany Knight entering the game for the Pitt Panthers, who was phenomenal last night, went a full 7 innings in the Panthers' upset win over the Seminoles, and now making her 31st appearance of the season.
Yeah, and what you're going to get with Brittany Knight, she's going to pitch a little bit backwards, right? You're going to get off-speed pitches and hitters counts, but you're really going to get a competitor that battles, right? With Coach Hermanic's back against the wall, she goes to her senior to get her out of it.
You see her numbers from last night. The complete game, 3 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. But maybe the most important stat of them all is the W for the Panthers. But this time Shellnut with a liner to right. And in to score is the speedy Devin Flaherty, and Florida State takes a 5-4 lead quickly here at the top of the 7th.
And just like that, right, Brittany Knight comes in the attack the first pitch and drives in the go-ahead run here, top 7. Really good at bat there by her.
So big time at bat there for Florida State, as Anna Shellnut able to drive in the run. And a huge moment for Shellnut, who did not have a hit yet today. But that time able to score Flaherty and put the Seminoles back on top.
Right, and she's not having the season, as you said earlier, Jay, that she's had in the past. But when you have a player as good as Anna Shellnut, eventually it's going to come. And right there, the go-ahead RBI single, that's why she's still in the lineup day in, day out.
And pinch runner over at first base is Dion Riggs, stepping in for Shellnut to run. And at the plate is Josie Muffley. Muffley goes opposite field and in to make the catch is Drapola. Back to first, and the Panthers get a double play to end the inning.
Absolutely. Drapola comes in, reads the ball well for the sliding catch and doubles up Shelnut at first base. A fantastic play for the Panthers to start their bottom half of the 7 down 5-4.
Welcome back to Vartabedian Field as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Florida State leading 5-4. And Matt, we may have a little bit of deja vu on our hands as this was the exact score heading into the bottom of the 7th in last night's game. Last night, Panthers entered the bottom of the 7th with the 9-hitter in the order. This afternoon, they'll start with Chandler Walter leading off in the bottom of the 7th, but you know what that means. Cammie Compson, the walk-off homer in last night's game, will be hitting third.
Yeah, she'll get an opportunity, and if you're Pitt, right, you have a position to win this ball game. You've done it before, so you got to believe that you could do it again. All you got to do is get a lady on base and start getting the things moving.
And of course, it won't be easy for the Panthers going up in this inning against Kat Sandercock with just a 1.18 ERA on the season. Only one hit allowed today, and it ended up being the double from Drapola that scored 2 to tie the game back in the 6th. And of course, in the top half of this inning, Florida State regaining the lead thanks to the hit from Anna Shelnut. 1-2 to Walter. Line one in foul territory down the left field line.
Like Sandercock tried to climb the ladder a little bit, go maybe a little bit of rise ball up and in. But Walter able to get the hands out and just pull that foul.
Worked Walter inside. Got her swinging for 1 out to start the inning. And you see here what's on the line for the Panthers. They have to match North Carolina's win total this weekend to get into the ACC tournament. Tar Heels starting at 5:30 tonight in their game against Louisville. But Matt, we talked about it earlier. If the Panthers can secure one more win over Florida State, they all but clinch their spot in the bracket.
Yeah, if they're able to secure this game right now, North Carolina would have to win out when the rest of their games this weekend, all 3 of them, after losing last night, which is a tall task to ask of any team against a Louisville club.
Looked like that one came off the bottom of the bat there from Kayla Lane. And Catherine Sandercock has started off well this inning. But the story all day for the first few batters in this Panther lineup. They are now 0 for 7, but right behind them, Compson, Siemens, and Levesque have been productive. This time Lane goes down swinging, 2 very quick outs for Sandercock. But it is Cammie Compson stepping to the plate. Panthers still down 1, trying to extend the game.
Absolutely. If you're Pitt, she is the lady that you want at the dish in this spot. If you're Sandercock, if you're a competitor like I know she is the one you want to face in this spot. This is when true athletes get tested.
A lot of heat on that first pitch from Sandercock. One of the top pitchers in the country, taking on one of the best freshmen in this ACC season. Oh, 0-2 count quickly to Compson.
2 fantastic pitches down and in. Sandercock goes paint down and in early, but don't count out Compson, right? With her all-out swing, I don't anticipate her letting up at all on that swing with 2 strikes.
And worked Compson outside there.
Just missed outside.
And look at those three outfielders there.
Yeah, that's a little. Is that a no home runs defense? I've heard of a no doubles defense, but that might be a no home runs defense there. Sign of respect.
Compson fouls it off. Staying alive, bottom 7. Center fielder Danny Morgan with both feet on the warning track. After watching Compson drill one right over her head last night to seal a Panther win. And Compson goes down swinging this time. Florida State gets redemption.
And Florida State comes back. And 26-0 after leading in 5, as you can see there, comes back today after not being able to shut the door last night. Sandercock gets the job done today.
So